and gauge your clinical reasoning. Assess your intervention
I
planning.
need to get back to work. I have 3 children. My wife works, but it's important that I provide for them. I guess you're right. I can't go to work and provide for others if I can't take care of myself first.
Demonstrate your skills in environmental modification. Work with families of clients.
Given her age and grade level, I'd like to recommend that she receives OT services twice a week, once in the classroom and once outside, with an emphasis on doing activities to promote the pencil grasp and her ability to control the pencil to form shapes.
Demonstrate interprofessional teamwork.
In this case, based on your input, let me speak to the father first, since he's easier to get in touch with. I'll then try to arrange a time to speak with her.
Hey, good to hear from you. I saw Baby Jones yesterday and have the same impressions and concerns as you do.
As you can see, case simulations immerse you into situations that are real-world experiences for today's OT. Now, let's move on to the next stop on the tour. Welcome to Mini Practice Quizzes, a quicker stop along our journey. This is a speedy way to demonstrate your OT knowledge in particular practice areas. It's also a great tool for OTs who are thinking of transitioning to a different practice setting. Our next stop is out of this world. Welcome to the PICO game. Through this tool, you can learn how to complete an evidence-based search and apply the findings to your practice. And for the final stop on our tour, we visit the Knowledge Match Games. During these interactive games, act quickly to match correct answers and demonstrate practice knowledge. Those are our new offerings. At the conclusion of each tool, you receive a feedback screen with recommended readings. From there, it's simple. Your reading list is automatically populated. And you can copy the citations and paste them right into ProQuest. Once you've completed the reading, just check the box on your reading list. As you complete different tools, you can earn Professional Development Units, or PDU. On the PDU indicator, you will see a slider that indicates how many PDU you earned. There it is. As you can see, the NBCOT Navigator is a convenient and effective way for you to verify your practice strengths. And it's available anywhere at any time.
A couple of things. The first slide on the self-reflective tool, that's programmed to take some background information about yourself. And the computer then selects what games you should take based upon your practice area, how long you've been practicing that area, and it is an algorithm in the back that creates the games for you. But also, though, if you're currently practicing, say, in pediatrics, and you want to transition to orthopedics, well, then we'll select those games that you should take just to get an assessment of where you are with orthopedic knowledge, and then it will give you an area of your strengths and deficiencies and what you need to particularly work on. The reason we developed the PICO game is that we have a large majority of therapists in the States that don't have a master's degree. They have a bachelor's degree. They weren't exposed to research as you would be at the graduate level, and really don't know how to do a search to obtain or look for evidence. So we wanted to give them a game to really introduce them into how to identify the research question, and based upon that, how to find the answers to the particular question. We launched these games in June of this year, and we are currently using them quite. You know how I get that. This takes you inside of one of the games.
Case simulation. Case simulations are simulated real-world interactions with virtual clients. Each simulation focuses on various aspects of the OT process. This interactive approach allows the player to apply practice area knowledge by making decisions on the course of action that is most appropriate for a specific situation. Each case begins with an information phase, an introduction, which is an expository presentation of the case setting, client condition, and other pertinent case information. OT journal entries allow the player to see how the on-screen OTR is progressing through the OT process. This information may include ways to prepare for an initial client interview, means of selecting assessments or interventions, or notes for an interprofessional team communication. Case notes include information contained in the client's file, such as documentation summarizing pertinent client factors or the outcomes of decisions made by the player during the case. The player has the ability to review the case notes throughout the progression of the game. The mentor provides instructions on ways for the player to proceed through the game and methods for interacting with the animation or selection picker modules. During the animation modules, conversations with the client and relevant individuals are possible by the player selecting interaction points from a series of possible discussion points. The animation brings the case to life, allowing the player to observe the client, then to practice clinical reasoning by selecting the best options for the client. In some situations, multiple camera angles are available to help the player make the best observation in order to select the optimal action. Selection pickers allow the player to apply clinical reasoning by deciding on the best action for the client during a particular phase of the OT process. Through this process, the player is presented with a deck of potential actions and completes a sorting activity to determine the best actions to take. Environmental modification modules enable the player to view the client's environment and make decisions about the most beneficial recommendations for the client's home or other environmental context. Each case concludes with an outro, which presents informative information allowing the player to view outcomes of the occupational therapy evaluations and interventions. At the end of each case, the player is provided with feedback about their personal performance on the case and reading recommendations that are added to the player's reading list.
I want to thank you for coming this afternoon. I hope I provided you an overview of NBCOT. Please, questions? Yes.
I'm Roger and it has been rumored that AOT is going to upgrade the educational background level from the master degree to OTD. So what will the NBC OT going to react if this comes true? And would you like to talk about this a little more?
Yes. The question is entry level in the United States going to leave masters to go to the entry level doctorate, OTD? The answer right now is no. That their accreditation body came out recently with a position paper that they're going to maintain the master's level for entry into occupational therapy. As you know, physical therapy went that way a number of years ago. But right now, there are 6 schools in the U.S. that have entry-level doctoral programs. Those students take the same examination, become certified as the master's students do. And in my communications with the people at the accreditation at the AOTA, they are positioning as they are staying at the master's level in the foreseeable future. One of the problems that they're finding with physical therapy at the doctoral level is that, number one, it's closed off foreign therapists coming to the States. Many countries don't have the entry-level doctorate in PT. It's very expensive. It's more college, more years of tuition, and their income isn't any different than someone with a master's degree. So you put it all together, it does not work. OT is staying at the baccalaureate level. Yes, more questions? Yes.
Please introduce yourself first.
Hi, I'm now OT working in a hospital, and I want to thank Dr. Grace for introducing us the navigator thing, and I wonder if it's available for the OTs work in Taiwan, or do we have to apply for or register for some kind of membership to get the access to the navigator?
Right now, the navigator is for people, or for therapists that are certified by NVCOT. We provide that at no charge to them. Our board of directors has received a lot of requests from organizations outside of the U.S. for access to the navigator. I don't have an answer for you on that today, but I think the response in the next 6 months will be positive, that we are going to make a pathway for people to access the navigator tool. The reason for that is it's so new. As I said, we launched it in June. We really didn't know how it was going to go. We did a lot of testing, spent quite a bit of money, but the response has just been phenomenal. And we had an opportunity to present it to our counterparts in Canada. And they really encouraged us to look towards creating a pathway for individuals to either get it from an organizational way or a subscription you can purchase as you go type of way. I'm sorry I don't have more to say, but it's tracking in a positive direction. That's the best way I can describe it right now.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Please. I'm doing my voice for you. I need some more questions. Are there any questions about the examination? Our examination, just want to go back to the test one more time. Yes?
Yeah, I'm question about the competency, the overall test competency or something about zero, like 250.
Yes.
Is that for educated OTs?
Right.
And I was wondering, you said, for example, 1 or 2 competency on this thing. How do they make up for it?
It really depends on the competency. I mean, there are some, what we do is we take the U.S. competencies, okay, and we match it to your curriculum, those competencies. But there are some competencies we don't need to look at. Like one is a competency on knowing about the American associations, state associations and stuff like that. That's not something someone living outside the U.S. would have any knowledge of. You can't go to school for that. So we cut that out. I think the vast majority, where there's deficiencies in those areas that I talked about, physical agent modalities. The other one in the United States is driver education, dysphasia, and PAMS. Those are the ones that tend to people to slow down. The reason we have to, then what we do for the people who are deficient in those areas, there are a list of providers that have online courses where you can make it up that way there. Okay, and they're usually 1 day or 4 hours, whatever it may be, of an online continuing education course, and we accept those.
So the online courses, they are only like US provided by the US?
No, we've had some people. If you had them here, yes, oh yeah,
Okay, so let's say, for example, for nostalgia, if our association provides.
absolutely.
And then we can just ask the association to have a certificate.
Exactly. In fact, that's what India does. India has like 6 courses like that for their students. The India Association has things like that. They have those courses like that.
So you are saying there's 3 areas that most therapists using pains, nostalgia.
And driving case does seem to be the biggest ones. So there's still not unique like that. You have a question too?
Dr. Grace, my
Yeah.
question is that for students that here, if they got the master degrees in OT, could them just apply for the OTEP process in Taiwan? Just send the electronic file to see if they fulfill those requirements to be further certified to take exam for
Right.
for NPCOT.
Yes, the way the process works is if you go to our website, there's a tab, and it's OTED, and it's a online process, and you would fill in your information, and then it depends upon what school you went to. The schools that we have the syllabi on file, I know I want to make sure everybody's work. You could highlight the school that you went to, and we would tell you if we have your information on file. And then it would be up to you to upload that information to us, and then we then would make the review and report back to you. But we're expecting more schools will submit their information as a group, so the student doesn't have to submit. And we'll tell students, we have your information for your school because someone else may have gone through the process, and we have it on file.
It's okay also for foreign applicants that they upload their file
Right.
from Taiwan
Right,
and for the online process.
yes.
And so how much does it cost?
Oh, the cost of it is this. There'll be no cost to this university if we have your information on file, because we don't put you through OTEC, because we've done the review. Okay, I'm expecting for this university, we will have your information on file, so the student would not go through OTED, they go right directly to applying for the certification examination. For individuals from schools that we don't have the information, they go through OTED, and that cost is $500 US. So we would bypass the OTED process, because we have schools right now that don't go through OTED because their curriculum, we review their curriculum, it satisfies the competencies, and therefore, why put them through OTED if in fact we already know that this school is going to pass, go through it.
Can I just follow up?
Yeah.
Follow up on this question. So you're going, I know in the past you're doing like individual-based
Yes,
evaluation. So you're moving towards university or program-based evaluation.
yes.
And can I ask what the progress is right now? Are you starting it or you're thinking about doing it?
We've been doing it.
Okay.
It's underway right now.
So like, for example, let us know like how many universities in Taiwan are on your files, so their students don't have to pay the $500?
Right, if in fact we have, I can't speak to what schools we have on file right now, but if we have them on file and they are acceptable, they will be in a particular, when you identify your school and a pull-down menu, it automatically will cue you that you are completed, go, to the examination right away.
Put the university on file after they have students applying for the program,
Sorry,
it's approved, and then they will automatically be on the file.
Exactly. We've had some schools though who were proactive and submitted information in advance. One of the problems that many students do have though is that the school may close. They've been out for 10 years, 15 years, and their school has closed, and then they have no access to getting transcripts and that type of information. You still would have to submit your transcript to prove that you graduated, but we have all your coursework, because someone previously went through the process. And I don't think it's fair to put somebody through OTED, and particularly the cost involved and stuff like that. Please, no questions back here? Okay. Yes?
May I have a question regarding the English proficiency?
Yes.
If they got a degree in outside of US in a non-English country, then
Right.
do you require any?
That's a very good question. Up until 3 years ago, we required individuals to pass the TOEFL examination, and we stopped doing that. The reason for this is that TOEFL scores are only good for 2 years. And so we had a lot of individuals who took our examination, passed the examination, and then their TOEFL scores got voided because they still didn't get a visa to come to the United States. So we do not require a TOEFL score to take our test. The US government requires a TOEFL score to get the H-1B visa, okay? So we do not require it for you to take our exam, but if you want to request a visa, they want to see the TOEFL score. Yes.
I just wonder if you have a PhD degree in OT, but you don't have OT master degree, you may have special education or something others. Can he or she still take the exam?
You have a PhD in OT.
Yeah.
But you'd still have to satisfy all the requirements of OTED. And then you can take our examination, yes. Yes.
The curriculum.
The degree has to be in occupational therapy.
Okay.
That's the key. We had, in fact, there was a school opened up in the Philippines that was offering a master's degree in nursing with an emphasis in OT. So I said, wait a second here. And people went through the program thinking that they could take our exam. And we said no, because your degree is not in OT. And so that school now is not in business any longer. They closed. But there was a lot of people that were affected because what they were trying to do is get nurses a way of getting into the United States as a nurse. Okay, well, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate this.
We'd like to thank Progress to come so far away to visit his assistant in America. So let's give a big thanks to him. 那我们今天的那个介绍就到这里告一段落哈。那Progress 也很慷慨哈，他说他可以让我们把这个今天的这些报告哈，他让我们开成那个录带，所以我们会放到我们的这个网页上啊，成大的网页上。那如果同学有兴趣，可以跟他讲说，可以来我们这边看。好，那我们谢谢大家。那个一手的老师们来。也好，那那我就留在师大。还有其他学校老师到吗？哪边有人？对，那留下一起吃饭。我们中午还会跟那个后会才可以再谈刚刚的细节啊，可以跟学校可以建立一些沟通啊，可以帮助那个效果。好，还有人还想问问题吗？如果现在没有想到的话，就是刚刚他讲可以上网页，其实他们都资料在网页上都有，或者是问我们这边的老师们，好吧？那我们就有的同学要改去那个高雄上课，好，那么就到这里结束，好，谢谢大家。